And with me tonight on Bonus Stage Plus are my friends from Team Goodnight. Of course, Goodnight, the one-button bullet hell game that we featured a couple of episodes ago. Of course, that playthrough was intense, although you couldn't see it on my face because one comment that these guys had is like, I'm always super chill when streaming their game, but that's a story for another day, which maybe we might actually touch up on that later on. But of course, I have questions to ask them, but before we get to that, guys, please introduce yourselves.
I'm Alex Valdez, the co-creator and director of Goodnight, also the programmer, game designer, and all-around bad guy.
All right.
Hey,
that's a great way to get things rolling. All right, next. Who wants to go next?
Okay, I'll go next.
All right.
I'm Ramon Nario. I'm the music composer, and I help with some of the sound design in Goodnight. I'm an all-around good guy, in contrast to Alex.
Okay. And finally,
I'm Zaid Al-Shahid. I'm the artist behind the game. I do concept art, character design, 3D modeling, sculpting, texture, rigging, animation, everything related to art. I do that, and I'm the aggressive potato on the team.
Okay, that got me curious. What is the job description of aggressive potato?
Oh, well, just, like be angrily positive to people. If
Okay.
people are upset about themselves, and it's like, no, I'm not that good at my job. It's like, no, you are. You
Okay.
are. Look at my eyes, and I'm going to tell you you are. And if you're not going to believe it, I'm going to come to your home and beat the living dead out of you.
Okay, that is
Like Zaid is talking
that
to
is
me. Anyway.
that is an aggressive potato, or like that's a very clear mental image. And with that, of course, these are the folks behind Goodnight.
I want to add to that
Okay.
because he's, us on fighting games, right? When we have this thing called pop-off, so
Okay.
whenever Zaid is working, it's like he's just drawing stuff, and it's like he'll pop up. Oh man, yeah, you drew an artwork. That's
We
your
will- we
job.
will
Why are you
bleep all that
doing
out.
your job?
We're going to bleep all that out.
Go audio team.
Go audio team. I mean, I have.
Yeah, no, just do that.
I got notes. I mean, and we're pretty casual here, but yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Just a bit of background for those of us watching right now. Well, I met Alex mostly through the fighting game community, so we're kind of rough around the edges, and that's kind of showing right now, of course.
Oh yeah.
But
I miss
all
the
right,
ghetto spirit, man. I miss the ghetto spirit.
I miss locals so much.
So much, yeah. Like even tournaments, you couldn't even watch proper tournaments online right now.
I know, but we're digressing like so far. And I need to pull this entire thing back on track. So this is for the team, and just to make things clear, this is the entire team, right? Unless like there's a bunch of secret characters that we haven't really mentioned yet.
Oh yeah, we do have some secret characters. Mostly assistants. People would help us on the back, and a lot of more moral support and support on writing. I also have my co-writer. Zaid has his co-artist, and we all got our co-producer.
Okay.
Co-producer is Irish. Co-artist is Panry. Her artist name is
Persona.
Panry, and we have our co-writer who I have yet to announce who.
Okay. So that's like the secret character.
Yeah.
Secret.
He's the question mark in Tekken.
Okay.
That's
So
my random
secret that it's a random character. All right. We're veering too far into fighting games again. You gotta pull it back. Okay.
It's like fighting Oni in Street Fighter 4.
All right. Okay. Our first question, and I can't believe it took us this long to actually get to it. But yeah, for the entire team, where did the idea for Good Night come from? So what were the influences, and like how did that idea just sprout up?
There is this quote that when you make video games, you really don't know what you're making.
Okay.
That's because technically Good Night start. I wanted to say that Good Night started with my horrible time on my childhood when people were throwing rocks at me and I tried to run around in circles. But no, there's no actually some cool idea. There's no awesome idea backstory. Basically, I was just doing a prototype where you tap a button and there's this rhythm, there's this feeling of rhythm. That basically the concept is how much fun can we make from pressing one button.
Okay.
Then I made some concept. What if this character is going around and add some extra oomph to the game? And then when we were making the game, we just thought of just adding some kind of like on Nintendo, they start with gameplay first, then they think of the theme afterwards. We just made a joke where, what if there's this character, there's this knight, and he's pretty good. Oh, it's Good Night. And the ending is, well, spoilers.
The rest is history.
So, good, you're such a good knight. Kind of like that. It's stupid. And then we thought of some characters where when we just thought of why not we add some tikbalang and some Filipino creatures. So the idea of Filipino mythology and Filipino-inspired stuff hasn't been added on the first part. But when we showed off the game on ESGS 2018, people were actually pretty they were in love with the random stuff we added with the Tagalog, the Alibata, the Baybayin, the Filipino mythologies, and then we decided, well, why not double down on that because people like it. So usually when people say that who made Good Night, we don't exaggerate that the fourth member of Good Night is the community, because we're actually listening to the community on what to add to the game and how to improve on it and make the game with them, which is actually what people really love about Good Night, is that we're very active on social media with our community as well, and people are constantly giving us feedback and constantly giving us love. So that's how Good Night is made. It's not actually from us, but everybody who's involved.
Okay, it's like a really huge collective effort, basically. All right, this leads me into my next question. How long has the game been in development?
Could answer that.
The game has been almost more than 2 years now, since the first prototype that we started back in ESGS 2018. It was supposed to be like a game that is like just a very quick project that we wanted to deploy on Google Market and see how it goes. But we got the invitation to ESGS and we saw the feedback, so it's like, okay, let's push this and see where it goes. So it kept on going and going, and it is where it is now. Like a lot of, if you look at the first prototype and the game now, it's like there is a huge difference. It doesn't even look the same anymore.
I would love to see those earlier stages just to see how far you guys have come.
I
think I still have it on my wife's phone. I'm not sure. Alex.
We even uploaded it on Facebook. The anniversary was actually last month, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I missed that one, but belated happy anniversary to you guys.
Oh, thank you. So it's been 2 years. It's been more than two years, and it just kept on growing. And thanks to the community, that we want to add as much features as we can to make that game matter. It's not just we don't want it to be a game that you're gonna like play, finish, and like put it on the side and continue something else. We want you to come back. So Alex keep on adding stuff here.
I see. All right. Of course, this is a more or less a required question, especially with these crazy times that we live in. And yeah, I think you know what to expect from this one. But what are the challenges that you guys have faced, especially with the global pandemic that we have right now? It's a hell of an obvious question,
laughing.
but I gotta throw that out anyway.
Zaid is laughing. For us, it felt like the pandemic started when we started making video games.
Okay. Just to clear that up, it's like you guys were already working remotely from each other, and it just so happened that everyone else, like maybe 95 to 99% of the world, everyone else was just also forced to work remotely.
Yeah. It was like,
basically.
I just actually realized that there was a pandemic going on last week. I was like, whoa, what the heck are you guys talking about? Like, you can't get out?
And such is the story of game development. Sometimes you really just lose track
we're
of...
always inside, actually.
Yeah,
I mean...
like for us, at least for me personally, since I graduated, I work freelance. I work from home. Okay?
It's a thing you've already been doing.
It's a thing that I've been doing like for a very long time. The only time that I went to office is when I was working at the office with Alex for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And even while doing that, I was still working on the weekends and like after midnight, I still do an online work. So I was telling a friend like a couple of months ago when we were chatting, I was like, I feel sad. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but there is one thing that I feel kind of sad about is that there is nothing that I miss about going out. Like, like people say that, oh my God, I wish the pandemic is gonna be done so I can like go and do something, and I'm like, I don't have these kind of things. And just like this is. I don't miss anything. It's my normal every day that I'm stuck at home in front of the screen doing my thing. So at least that's for me.
I see.
So,
I want to hear Ramon's take on this. I haven't heard a lot from him yet.
Yeah, well, there's a reason for that because I joined the team kind of late, just in 2019. I wasn't part of the team originally, but actually, it's the same as Vem. I'm more of an online internet musician since like 2009. So I have been doing things at home. So similarly,
by the way, excellent soundtrack. I just got to throw that out there. Right?
Actually, we wanted to talk about that soundtrack for a long while.
Yes, we'll have the chance for that. But yes, just in case, if you haven't checked out our showcase for Good Night, yeah, you can check the previous episode and. Yeah, just see the gameplay, and of course, hear the soundtrack. It's a really good mix of symphonic metal, mostly, and it just rocks so hard. I wish that, of course, I could turn the volume all the way up on that, but I wouldn't be able to talk over it either. But yes, Ramon just put together a really nice score for the game. And then that also brings me to my next question, okay? So, one thing that I noticed you guys have been doing, and because I also got roped into this process, is... how has distributing, let's say, a demo build with streamers and other members of the community help raise awareness for the game? Because, I got a copy of the build, I got to stream that, and then, other people have been streaming it too. So, yeah, and that seems to have been your strategy. So how's that been working out for you guys so far?
First off, I actually want to say something that I really missed during before the pandemic happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is I really miss going to the communities.
Oh, like live demos, like in-person demos.
Live demos, like you've seen our booth on ESGS and stuff. Like there were lots of hype people going around. There were some people lining up. I like to think it's kind of like the FGC.
Okay, because that it's still just to digress a bit and talk about the game itself. There's still that competitive spirit because you got high scores and a leaderboard. You put a leaderboard on anything and people will try to one up each other on that, right?
Yeah. It's like so. It's amazing. It got this cabinet feeling on when we were during ESGS. It got this arcade feel where we placed the game like on the first hour. There were people lining up and playing the game, and
Awesome.
after 1 hour, there were people on the back who were actually just 1 hour after the game was technically released. People on the back were actually talking about the meta of the game already. They were
Oh,
distributing some tips, like they were telling me like to get a perfect run, you shouldn't hit this guy on the second part because you will risk your life and you
like the
wouldn't get
pattern's
the
gonna
perfect
change
run.
if you hit particular
Yeah,
enemies. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. I love that
When
sense
your
of
game is
community.
like an hour old and like there's already a discussion on the meta game already revolving around it, then you're doing something right.
Yeah, and it's just a 10 minute, 10 to 15 minute demo, and it's so deep.
I think
Um,
Ramon's got something to say.
No, I
I
was
think.
just in approval. 'cause-
Oh,
alright.
okay. I saw that wrong because I thought you were raising your hand. All right, these glasses are fogging up. But yeah, that brings me.
Okay, yeah.
That brings me to my next question. I know you've been working on other stuff, so yeah, what other projects have you been working on outside of just Good Night?
sorry, I haven't finished the question with
Oh,
the streamer
okay.
earlier.
Okay, yeah, please continue that previous one. My bad. My bad.
Um, it's okay, it's okay. So regarding the streaming community, actually the biggest problem with shmup, shoot 'em ups, bullet hell, these kinds of games are super niche.
Oh yeah.
Just to say how niche it is, on the FGC on Reddit, we got around 100 plus on our fighting games or our kappa. On on SMAP communities on Facebook, the worldwide SMAP community is around 4,000. 4,000.
Okay.
It's extremely low. It's so hard to market actually.
I had to explain what a bullet hell game is.
Yeah. It's funny when we did that on a PG stream. We were on GMA, I think, on GMA. We were wondering if we would call it bullet hell or bullet heck.
What the heck?
It was funny. So the idea was that because I'm already close on the community, I already tried talking to other streamers around here in the Philippines, and which actually worked here in the Philippines. I get more people playing the game. Around the world, it's a bit harder. You need to find some independent starting out streamers.
And you really got to
Actually
push
super
harder
hard.
for it, right?
Yeah, because it's a super hard sell.
Okay.
To be honest, because the community is so small, I'm hoping to when I'm gonna market this soon again. I'm hoping to talk to fighting game streamers because usually they don't stream other games except fighting games. So usually when you want to promote your games to other streamers, you need to talk to them, give them some code, and usually they wouldn't want to play your game because they already got hundreds of games out there that they can play.
Oh yeah,
But usually fighting gamers,
that's a hell of a challenge.
yeah, on fighting gamers they just bring out they bring out their on fighting gamers they just give out their no other gamers, no indie games reach out to them. So
I
I'm
see.
hoping that they would be interested in this game and expand
Yeah,
the
it's hard to
community
catch
with it.
people's attention, basically.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, the question that I so rudely interrupted you with. I'm sorry again. What other projects have you been working on?
I have none.
Okay,
I'm fully committed and good night.
All right. So it's on
Yeah.
Good Night. All right. Well,
Alex is working on Good Night because it's a very, from his side, it's very heavy task.
I see.
Like coding in all the features and everything. But from my side, I do some stuff once in a while because also like the tasks on Good Night are very heavy and intensive. But I do once in a while take a very short, brief break during like during the workday, like maybe after I'm done with Goodnight. I've been working for 8 hours. I do take a couple of hours to work on a board game that I'm doing with my other partner in the U.S. It's called Loot and Glory. It's basically a tabletop adventure for that is family friendly. He wanted to create. He wanted to play Dungeons and Dragons with his kids, but
Okay.
he said that Dungeons and Dragons are too brutal and too grotesque,
I
and
see.
it's too real. So it's like he wanted to make something more child friendly with the character designs, with the way that it looks, and with the things how things are being handled. So we kind of also we have been working for a couple of years on it, and it's done. It's just waiting for the right time to get it going.
I
So
see.
that's
How
what I've
about
been working on the side.
how about Ramon? Anything else that you've been working on?
Well, that's an easy question to answer for me since I'm the musician. So of course I'm working on my own stuff.
Okay.
My most popular online moniker is Leaf Exceed Music Division. So I've got a bunch of music online, mostly video game remixes, and of course metal game
Awesome.
remixes. You can check that out. And well, I'm also open to looking for other opportunities to distribute my music, my kind of soundtrack, my style. So
Hire
yeah,
him.
I'm on the
Hire him.
lookout.
Hire him, hire him.
Yeah.
We'll
Oh yeah, and I suppose there's one more notable thing I want to
Okay.
say. You know about the Riven game called Osu?
yes,
we have
definitely.
we have like we have these things called featured artists, which are like licensed artists to Osu that you can use in competitions and things like that. I'm one of them. I'm one of them.
Nice,
So
nice.
my songs are on there, and once the maps are created, they can play all of my music on Osu. So
My
that's another thing that
been a while
Good
since
night.
Osu actually just got brought up in a conversation, and all I can say is that
Wow.
my main let's say yeah, my main memory of Osu is that like I entered a contest once and I won a headset by getting like top of
What?
the leaderboard. Like by getting a high score of
Wow.
yeah, that was like
Explain
years
that.
ago. That was years ago. Like I wasn't even in radio yet. It's been that long.
Wow.
But yes, last one is not okay. This is going to bring me, of course, to my last question because yeah, we're running on sort of limited time. But this is probably the most fun question because it's not going to deal with like game dev or like whatever you work on IRL. But yeah, a little more personal. All right, no, not about your personal lives. We're not that kind of show, okay? But I would like to ask you guys, what are your desert island games? So, say you get stranded on an island and you only have a few games to bring with you, maybe 3 or 5. What would those titles be? And I'm looking at Ramon's reaction now. He's like, wait a minute, this is a tougher question than I thought.
This is the hardest question.
Well, I had to save this one for the last, so. All right, this is a bit of a head scratcher, and everyone's just like very deep in thought.
Alex,
Okay,
you go first.
all right, all right.
Okay, okay. You gotta
Okay,
hate me for this, really.
what you
This
got?
is gonna be a meme.
Okay,
Could I answer the previous question?
about the other projects.
Wow. You go, Alex.
We're gonna. Okay, we're gonna just briefly jump back to that. But I'm just sort of just gonna request you to make it real quick.
Okay, okay. I just want to mention our old game, Mama Mo.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Like people really reacted. Oh yeah, Mama Mo. To those who are listening, Mama Mo is actually the name of the game.
Yes, it is. It is. All right.
So
They're not
I
talking
just
about my
wanna
mom. Hi, mom.
I just want to mention that I forgot to mention that we made the game Mama Mo. We made it for 3 days.
It's a virtual
Because that's the
reality
reason-
game, just for those who need a bit of background on it. But yes, please.
It's an award-winning game for made within 3 days. The reason why I wanted to mention it because Good Night was started as a 3-day game as well. We
Nice.
finished Good Night as 3 days, and Also, another award-winning game I just finished making. We made around on Game Jam VR around February. The name of the game is Tito Boy.
Okay.
Post-apocalyptic Tito who saves robot, and that's it.
Awesome.
I just
awesome.
wanted to mention it because I wanted to tell people that making games, finishing the prototype is different from finishing the game. So it took me 3 days to finish the original Goodnight prototype, but it took us 2 years just to get to this position.
I see.
With that said,
okay. With that said,
there is still more.
yeah.
the
Is there anything?
favorite-
Is there anything that you haven't told us about yet?
no,
Okay.
He actually bought us time.
Okay. All right.
deserted
Yeah,
game. Deserted
you
game.
seem really happy with the fact that Alex talked a bit. Okay, let's get back to
It's
Zaid.
hard.
Let's get back to Zaid and his picks for his desert island games. I'm curious
Man.
here.
Okay, I would say I would go for Contra Hard Corps.
Oh
for
man,
Sega Genesis.
are you looking at my reaction right now? It's like
Yeah.
that's amazing. That's a good
Yeah,
pick.
this is like the game that I would like play anywhere, and I did play everywhere. Everywhere I go, I'm traveling, I'm going somewhere. I must have hard cops with me to play because
And it's now on Switch also.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it is, but not the Japanese. The Japanese completely different than the American.
Oh yeah,
That's the problem that I have with that.
I had the Japanese copy of that.
Yeah, I grew up with that. We in Iraq we got a lot of most of our games were Japanese at first. They come in Japanese, then after that we get the US version of the game.
We're probably going to take all night if we talk about just this one game.
Yeah,
So we got to move it along.
Yeah, let's move. Okay. Second game. If we're picking 5 games, okay.
Games?
Yeah, it's like
Let's make it
two-
3. Let's make it 3. So it's
3. 3.
Yeah.
Okay. That's now it's more difficult. Okay.
okay.
That would be all contrast.
You're making me pick between R-Type Final and Gradius 5 now. Dang it.
Okay.
Okay. R-Type 5. R-Type Final. That'll be the next one.
That's also a shoot 'em up for our viewers.
Yes. Yeah. And I gotta go for Quake 3 Arena.
Oh, nice. That's
Yeah.
quite the eclectic lineup you got there. Let's head on over to Ramon. What are your picks, man?
I want to challenge Zaid. I want to challenge Zaid. So you don't like Dark Souls?
I do like Dark Souls, but I mean, I'm gonna
Guys,
be
this
stuck
is
for a
another
long
rabbit
time.
hole we're going. This is another whole rabbit hole that we're gonna go down. As much as I want to keep on talking. All right, what are Ramon's picks?
Okay. I'll keep it simple and straight because these are the games that really mean a lot to me growing up and all.
Mm-hmm.
First, Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the PlayStation 1.
Okay.
Next, this is kind of a niche pick. Lufia, The Legend Returns for the Game Boy Color.
my God.
It was one of the first RPGs I've ever played.
That's a very specific version of it too.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And
it's very
lastly,
different for the PS1.
yeah, yes. And lastly, Doom, as in the DOS game, first-person shooter, legendary, one that started it all in '93.
Which you can
I
also
think
play
that-
on Switch these days.
Yes, you can. Also Doom 64, and 2, and 3, and 2016.
All right. And last but not the least, what are Alex's picks? Is one of them
my
Melty
God,
Blood?
so
Is one of
hard.
them Melty Blood?
Yeah, exactly. No,
Okay,
you
that's
know
one
what's
game.
up.
That's one game off the list. Melty
Melty-
Blood actress again. Current code.
Yeah,
Oh no, where'd he go?
I think he left
No.
your interview, man.
I just want to show. See? I just bought this during pandemic.
Okay,
So,
okay.
The PS2 one. Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
One of
It's
these
so hard
days,
because-
I'm actually gonna have to explain like what the mystique behind Melty Blood is. But
Oh,
that's
yeah,
gonna,
yeah.
that's probably gonna be on another episode because we're gonna take all night doing just that. But yes, what are
Yeah,
your
yeah.
other picks?
I just want to say the reason why I picked Multi Blood, even though actually I would pick Multi Blood because of how important it is to me. Not
Okay.
because playing fighting games alone is not fun. For the other picks, oh, it's so hard, man. For I think on video game influences or as a game dev, I would just rather pick those ones. Um, you can play Here Comes the Pain on the beach, on the deserted island. Here, WWE Here Comes the Pain.
Hey, I have a history with that game too, but that's
Seriously?
that's another that's
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 my
another
favorite wrestling
that's
game.
another rabbit hole. All right.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna have to acknowledge that if there's a topic that I might end up talking at length with, let's move, because I don't want to get dragged into that either.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, it's the last one. You can do it,
The
Alex.
last one, because it's so hard making a. In a way, I love making games more than playing games.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would have my last game as RPG Maker. That's a good shit. If I'm gonna spend my time here on the beach, might as well
Make another
some
game.
Video games.
Make another
More
game.
games to play.
Like a true developer.
All
Really
right.
a true developer.
Anyway, thank you guys for
Those
being,
are
of course, thank you guys for being such good sports and just coming on the show. That was so much fun. Apologies to our
Yeah.
editor who has to bleep you out sometimes. But hey, that's that's the nature of the show. But it's been so cool. All right, having you guys on, and of course, just seeing a bit into the process of how Good Night was made. Best of luck on your current endeavor, of course, and whatever future projects you guys work on. Before we go, of course, where can we find you on the internet?
We're on Steam. Just go on Steam and look for Good Night.
That's
and
Night with a K, by the way.
Night with a K. Then add us on our wish list. On to your wish list. It will help us a lot. Then on Facebook, just look for Good Night Bullet Hell on the search. And on Twitter, we're Good Night Hell at Good Night Hell. You can also message us if you want to make your own video game. We could help you out. We're very nice people that you can easily talk to, and we'll help anything we could with you guys.
We don't bite. If you need some, like advice about software, anything that whatever you're gonna need to use, you just drop a message. We can give you an advice regarding that. We don't
We help
bite.
students.
Awesome. And with that, of course, Ramon, you got anything else? Got any parting words?
Yeah. I guess.
YouTube. Your YouTube.
Yes. Shameless plugs. Just Google Leaf Exceed Music Division. You'll find YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, SoundCloud. Whatever's there, that's me. As long as it's Ramon Nario, then you can hear my music there.
And of course, get a good pair of headphones and turn the volume up.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I assure you that the Good Night soundtrack will be up on those channels soon.
All right, and with that, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah.
On the YouTube channel, we have a YouTube channel as well for Good Night. There are some tracks in there. You can go listen to that.
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
I'm gonna check that out later. And of course, it's been Bonus Stage Plus. Thank you guys for coming on. If you want to find us online, we are at 95PlayFM on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And as for me, find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at @it_Burns. It has been an incredibly fun night, and I will see you guys next time.